have another story to read today. This one is called Don't Frighten the Lion. It's written by a woman that's written lots of children's books over the years. And the pictures are drawn by the man that drew the pictures in the Curious George books. I think all of you guys have read Curious George books. And this one, the man that drew the pictures for those books drew all the pictures for this book. Okay, before I start, I'm just going to introduce you to a few of the animals that are here that are going to be in the story. I was looking through Aunt Meredith or Mommy's bag of beanies, and I found a few. This is a dog. This dog is brown and black. The dog in the story is all black, so this is the closest I could come. Oof. Bark, bark. The dog in the story has curly black hair, but you get the idea. We're also going to see some seals. What do seals say? Do you remember? They sometimes they clap their hands together and they go, It's sort of like a bark, but it's a different kind. We're also going to meet, who's that? What does a lion say? Yeah, I want to hear your roar. I know you can all do that. And we're also going to meet some monkeys, different kinds of monkeys, but one of them will be this kind, an ape. And I bet you can all do a good monkey imitation for me, right? Eek, 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 eek. Remember, we saw monkeys at Disney World too. They were swinging from trees and doing all kinds of tricks. We're going to see that in the book. Well, let's get started. There's other animals in the book too because they're going to be going to a zoo. But unfortunately, I don't have every one of them in my stuffed animal collection, so that's okay. You know what they'll be when you see them. Okay, Don't Frighten the Lion by Margaret Wise Brown. All right, here's the picture of the dog in the story. It's a curly-haired dog called a poodle dog. And she's looking, it's a girl dog, and she's looking out the window, and she's listening. Once, there was a little dog who wanted to go to the zoo. She lived near the park, and at night, when the wind blew from the park, she could hear the seals barking, and the lion roaring, and the monkeys chattering in the monkey house. They were so close, and she could hear them, but she couldn't go. Well, one day, her master, who had a mustache, a very large one, I might add, said, "Come on, little dog, I'll take you for a walk in the park, and you can see the animals in the zoo." Sounds good, huh? So they walked through the park to get to the zoo, and there he is. You can see he has a pretty big mustache, and there's the dog on the leash, and they're going to the zoo. And then they came to the zoo, but there was a big sign that said, I don't know if you can read it from here, you maybe can see the words N-O. It says no dogs. No dogs allowed in here. So the little dog and her master had to stop right there. A seal barked and a lion roared, and they could hear the monkeys chattering in the monkey house. So close, but they couldn't go in. They had to turn around and go home. The little dog was very sad. You want to see how sad the little dog is? The man looks pretty sad too, doesn't he? Look at how drooped over they are. Little dog's ears fell down. Her tail fell down. And you know, that's one thing you can tell when a dog's tail is hanging down. They're either scared or really sad. And the hair fell down on her back, and she was so sad. "Oh, look how sad my little dog is," said the little dog's master to the keeper of the zoo. "When we came to the sign that said no dogs and we couldn't go in, her ears fell down and her tail fell down and the fur fell down on her back. She is so sad." He's telling the zookeeper this. Does the zookeeper look like he's concerned? Yeah, he's kind of like, "Oh dear, I wish I could do something." He kind of feels bad about it. The keeper of the zoo was very sorry to see them go, and he said, "If only she were a child, or even looked like a child, then she could go in. But a little dog would frighten the animals, especially the lion. Well, by cracky, said the little dog's master, I got an idea. I know what I'll do. I'll dress her up as a child. That's what I'll do. Then she won't frighten the lion. So they went to a hairdresser and got the little dog a haircut. What do you think? Do you think a little dog, you guys have sat in chairs like that to get your hairs cut. Do you think they could make her look like a person? Well, we'll see. And then they went to a store and they bought the little dog a hat with cherries on it and a bow. And then they bought a dress with polka dots and some striped socks and even red shoes. Here it is. Now, how many feet does a dog have? 1, 2, 3, 4. You bought 2 pairs of shoes. Well, the little dog still looks something like a little dog. Here's her in her outfit. See? The dress, the hat, 2 shoes. The front paws don't have any shoes. What do you think? Does she look like a girl? A little girl going to the zoo, or does she look like a dog dressed up like a little girl? I agree. Well, they looked at her and she still looked something like a little dog, so they went and bought her some blue sunglasses, a pair of yellow gloves, and some gladiola perfume. That's a type of flower. So they got these 3 things. That's a perfume bottle. And the little dog's master then had to teach her how to walk on her hind legs because she only had 2 shoes. Now, if she went in the zoo with 4 feet, 4 legs, that would make her look more like a dog, wouldn't it? So he taught her how to walk on 2 legs, standing up. And here he is with treats from this bowl. So every time she did her tricks right, standing up on her back feet, he gave her a treat. And he worked with her for a while until she got it right. And when they were ready, they then went to the zoo. As they walked up to the gate, they met the keeper of the zoo again. Well, how do you do, said the keeper of the zoo. What a nice little girl you have there. And look at that, the man, the owner with the mustache, he looks very proud. He's got his chest stuck out. He's like, oh, I'm going to the zoo with my little girl. And there is his little girl. What do you think? What does she look like to you, a dog or a little girl? Well, he's very proud, and this keeper of the zoo is talking there, and he says, hello, little girl. But you know what he says next? He says, don't bark, little girl. Keep off the grass, and don't frighten the lion. And then the keeper walked away, and the little dog, all dressed up like a little girl, went trotting into the zoo. Why do you think he said don't bark? I think he kind of knew what was going on. But he was a nice guy. He let them go in. Okay, first they found the seals that we were just talking about earlier. Sometimes they clap their hands. And that little doggy, little girl doggy, saw the seals and all that noise she'd heard before. Oops, let's open the page bigger. Of the seals, she now knew what they looked like. She could picture them now when she could hear them. She could see their how they were slippery and sliding in and out of the water, and she could smell their cold, wet smell. And now she knew what a seal was. That was fun. Then they got to the lion cage, a fierce-looking yellow lion. He looked very brave, and there was that warm, tawny, crinkly smell the little dog had smelled so often on the night wind. Now she knew what a lion was. But the lion didn't know who she was. And then they saw a mother panther with a lot of little baby panthers. So here's our lion strutting through the cage, and they're watching. And here they're watching the panther family. Next, she saw polar bears and other kinds of bears, and they show a picture of the polar bear swimming in the cold water and eating fish. And then they saw brown bears and cinnamon bears, and the bears were eating bread and climbing trees, and they smelled like bears. You know, dogs have a really good nose, and she'd been smelling all these smells because they live near the zoo. Polar bear and all the other kinds of bears. It looks like a brown bear, and some of them are climbing a tree. Now she could put it all together. This is what I've been smelling and hearing. It was very educational. Then they saw a raccoon dipping his paws and his food in the water, as raccoons do. And then they saw the zebras. We saw zebras, didn't we, at Disney World? The zebras looked like striped horses, and they smelled like horses too, only they had a funny barking sound. I'm going to look that up on my phone later because I don't remember hearing the zebras bark. Here's the raccoon, and they do that. They really do wash their food with their water source nearby. And not with soap and water like we do. Splash in what other water they've got. It's not as clean as we are. And then here's the zebras, which I don't have to explain those to you guys. You're experts on zebras. And then they saw a red fox. And then they saw a kangaroo mommy with babies, one in her tummy and one next to her tummy, in that little pouch they have. And this is a hyena. You see some of those in the Lion King movie. This one wasn't laughing, but they're called laughing hyenas. And then they got to the monkey cage. Look at this big picture. They're watching, looking, and the monkeys are having such a good time. And there's all different kinds of monkeys swinging and playing from the tree in there. One of those monkeys, where'd he go? Right here, is reaching for a butterfly. Looks like the little girl, quote unquote, and the man are having a good time. They saw a baboon monkey eating a banana, and a monkey looking at the world upside down. Here's the baboon. Here's a monkey upside down. We saw monkeys at Disney World too. They were kind of fun to watch. And then there was a little black ape trying to catch the other black ape in the mirror. The other black ape was him, but he didn't understand all that yet. He was looking at himself in the mirror. And here's another kind of monkey, and there, look what they're doing. This one's scratching this guy's back, this one's scratching this guy's back. They're taking care of each other like monkeys like to do. They were gray-colored monkeys, and they were scratching each other's fur, making sure there's no bugs in there either. Well, just as the little dog leaned forward to see what they were scratching for, one of the monkeys reached out and grabbed her hat. Whoop! And that wasn't all they grabbed. Another one went for her glasses, and in the quick fingers of another monkey, her gloves came off, her glasses came off, her hat was off. This does not sound good, does it? And then pretty soon, whoops, there it is. Forgot to show you the picture. He's losing everything, and there's the monkeys grabbing. And then in a second or two, off came her dress and one of her shoes. And she said, what did dogs say? Woof! By cracky, said her master, you're a dog again. We had better get going. And look what he does. He grabs her, wraps his arms around her. Here's her tails hanging out. Everything's showing now because her girl clothes are off. And he took her and his little girl up in his arms, tucked her under his coat so that she wouldn't frighten the lion. There he's going by the startled zookeeper. Yeah. So here he is running home. He took her in his arms, hides her under the coat, and he carries her home. And that is the end. They had a little adventure, didn't they? It didn't turn out exactly like they planned, but it was still fun. In that picture, her mouth is open and she's having a good time. I think she was really glad to go to the zoo, don't you? Anyway, that's our funny story for today. Don't frighten the lion, and I'll see you soon.